A very good morning to you, and for those of you watching in black and white, we've changed sides today, so let this man introduce the podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Your Lurgan podcast. A very good morning to you. I'm Michael Scott.
And I'm Donagh McKeown.
I don't know why we switched sides, just this is the way it fell.
I don't know, maybe we try it, we're sitting in a mirror image, I don't know which. You can actually flip it so that I can be on the other side, but that's too much technology.
It's the sort of thing you do too, just to make sure you're on the right side.
Just to confuse you. Yes,
Well, I suppose we need to do this so people don't think we are Ant and Deck. Or something that sounds very similar to Ant and Deck.
I'm not even close to a celebrity. Get me out of here. Is that what you're thinking?
You're more like Matt Hancock than...
I just about heard that he's in there, and I'm appalled. Not that he's in there. I couldn't care two donuts, as it were, but I'm appalled that national and reputed radio stations and TV stations are doing reports on him. Anyway, that's just my penny's worth. Anyway, shall we move to the start of what we're going to talk about?
Don't know if I can let you off with that one.
Oh, okay, go for it.
I can see why they're doing it, because he's a politician. He's an elected politician. He was the health secretary, and people are rightly giving off about the fact he's in there. He's got constituents to represent. So it is newsworthy that they're covering it.
It's newsworthy in some sense.
The fact that they're covering what he's done now, what he's doing in the jungle, the fact he's in there is newsworthy. I don't know if they need to go daily updates on how Matt Hancock's doing.
Well, I don't think that they do myself. I see
I would
what
agree
you
with you
say.
there.
I see what you say. It's newsworthy, but it's how it's covered as it's celebrity news in the middle of serious news. And I heard a radio station, I'll not name it, today drop an important story on the environment and climate and what was happening in Sharm el-Sheikh, or whatever it's called, in Egypt. We have to move on. We've got no more time. And they immediately went to TV correspondents to talk about Matt Hancock. So I don't know its priorities. Anyway, that's my hobby horse. I'm sure I'll have more. I'm sure you'll have some more too.
Oh, we'll find one. Don't worry about that.
We're glad to know you're rested from last week. You were concerned.
Actually, I'm feeling very refreshed after last week. I don't know what has happened. I'm feeling a lot better. I had a shower before I came out as well. Which
Thank
makes me
you.
feel
I may not
good.
have.
Yeah. That's well,
What a look of disdain. If you didn't catch that, here it is again in slow motion. No, it's not.
This is why we don't have smell-o-vision here anyway. But yes, I'm feeling all right now. It's been another busy week on Your Lurgan. We've been flat out, and it's been a fun week in a way, but a sad week as well, as we'll report with our first story we're going to talk about, which was the passing of Sammy Gardiner, the former Ulster Unionist MLA for the area, former Mayor Craigavon, former councillor. Sammy was a man who, no matter what side of the community you were on, fought for the people of Lurgan. I think that's fair to say.
Very, very fair to say, and it's certainly apparent from the messages of condolence coming in a political sense from all parties. There was a respect for Mr. Gardiner. I met his sister not so long ago. Can't remember her name, and I can't. She was so lovely, and I wouldn't have too many memories of him having moved away, but certainly was aware of him very much, and I know much respect held for him in all shapes and forms and sizes.
Yeah, Sammy was chairman as well of Glenavon at a time as well. Sammy became chairman around the same time that I became programme editor at Glenavon. Wow. So that was me taking my first steps into the big bad world of journalism. I wouldn't say that Sammy was directly responsible for that, but he was there.
What have you done since? Oh, sorry.
Damn all, to be quite honest. But, Sammy always would have stopped, even after his time at Glenavon, would have stopped with me, and if he'd seen me up the street, how are you? What are you up to these days? Because I'd be in touch with him, through work and different things as well. So he's a real gentleman. He really was. And even, I don't think people will mind me saying this. I know there's a few people up at Glenavon who will know Sammy better than I did. And there are people up at Glenavon who will tell you that Sammy Gardiner wouldn't know if a football was blown up or stuffed. But what he did at Glenavon Football Club, he came in at a very, very difficult time. The club had been relegated a few years previously. He had taken the reins. He was Adrian Tier had left the club. Roy Ferguson had then taken over. There'd been a bit of a sticky spell following the resignation of Tommy Kincaid. The club was in a bit of a mess financially, to be quite honest. And I'm not saying that was anybody's direct fault, but it wasn't good. But Sammy came in, took on the role of chairman at a very, very difficult time, and steadied the ship. And it was only because he wanted to help the Lurgan Football Club do well. And on the pitch we probably didn't do as well as we'd like, but he steadied the ship. The club's in a good position now, and it's probably because of the foundation that Sammy laid. So a lot of people in Lurgan owe Sammy Gardiner a debt of gratitude, I think.
And it's that sort of thing in a football club, in sense you need somebody perhaps even removed from the football to kind of give you the direction and not be steered by being a passionate footballer necessarily.
Yeah.
Sometimes that really works.
But Sammy had always been known for his politics, and he was the youngest mayor of Lurgan as it was then, before the Craigavon borough was set up. He went into politics, I think, at the age of 23. Mayor of Lurgan, or Mayor of Craigavon, I think 3 times. Of course, represented the area, Upper Bann, as a MLA, and I think most people would say he was a fair man. He had his views like everybody does, but he always tried to represent and do what was right for the people of Lurgan. I think that's probably how he would want to be remembered.
It seems we're reporting on people's passing all the time, and that's the way it is in society. And then some really stand out and really nod towards and merit and our respects to the family and the friends of Sammy Gardiner.
We'll move on to a different topic, and a topic we sort of alluded to towards the end of last week's podcast. The story that I've been working
secretive.
on. I was. We've been contacted at the end of last week by employees at Royal Mail who had raised concerns with Your Lurgan, that basically large amounts of mail weren't being delivered, and it was because they were running out of time. They weren't being paid overtime, and that meant they had to come back to base, and that mail was just left to sit. I'm just going to try and find the story here because I have it saved on my phone here, so I can tell you a bit more about it.
While you're doing it, I'll give you a crossword puzzle.
It's all right, I've got it.
Okay.
So, on one day last week, 85 duties in Lurgan and Portadown went incompleted, with most frames having 30% of letters undelivered and over 12 frames completely full. So, to explain, a duty is a run that's carried out by the delivery person, a postman, postwoman, whatever you want to call them, and a frame, if you ever are in the sorting office, the big sort of frames of all the posts in them, that's a frame. That's the technical term. So, and yeah, so basically mail have been going through the roof, and you know what, it's going to get busier as well as we approach Christmas.
Ever slightly, I think that's the big concern.
Now, they were saying that Royal Mail were refusing to pay staff overtime and were making delivery staff bring back undelivered mail every day.
And who was making this? The union representing?
No. There was no. We haven't been speaking to the union. This was a staff member who had contacted us directly, and they were saying this goes against the universal service order that Royal Mail have, that they have to deliver all their post, and the postal worker contended that people are not getting their letters because Royal Mail make us, as in the postal workers, prioritise parcels first, which is wrong, in their words. So we went to Royal Mail and we said, what's going on here? Why is the post not being delivered?
They must have been terrified when they got the call from you.
The first time we sent them an email.
Oh, okay.
We'd like to have these things in
Because
writing.
you couldn't have got the mail delivered, possibly. Yeah.
So we emailed them and we asked them what's going on, and they didn't reply. So we followed up and said, we sent you an email. And by the way, we've had a further email
maybe
from.
Maybe put a stamp in the first email.
Aye. So they did come back to us. They had sent us a holding statement, and then they changed their statement. So the statement we have carried is the second statement. So the Royal Mail spokesperson said, every item of mail is important to us. That's good to know, because that's their job. We are very sorry for any delays that our customers may have recently experienced locally. Thanks very much. We are working hard to restore service levels to the standard that our customers expect. Good on them. Anyone who has any concerns over the delivery of their mail should contact the Royal Mail customer service team on 03457 740 740 or via the Royal Mail website royalmail.com. And then the spokesperson added, overtime continues to be available to colleagues when it is required, depending on our workload at any given time. So they're saying, if you need overtime, we'll give you overtime. But it appears that
your source says this isn't
it's
happening.
not happening.
Okay.
So
isn't this also too, though? I think this is similar to what's going on nationally. Neither of us know exactly, but we're under the threat, as it were, of some Royal Mail strikes because of the very thing that they're not getting paid enough. They're looking different benefits and just like everybody else, cost of living and whatever.
yeah. Well, I mean, as you say, we don't really know the ins and outs of what's going on, but there's a lot of industrial action going on at the minute, and people aren't happy. the workers are not happy, and it's tough times for everyone. It's going to be a long winter, and it's going to be interesting covering it, actually, see what develops with this. See how society copes without their post.
Could I form the listening, watching public that are watching our podcast that we will keep it posted?
For goodness sake.
I thought I'd get in there before you. I mean,
Well,
I'm making a joke of it. It's not funny.
No.
Not funny.
The next thing we're going to talk about, actually, Donna, is you.
Obviously, always.
Yeah.
It's the most important subject you can find. Yeah.
And you'll be able to find more of these pontastic puns on Donna FM whenever it launches.
Oh no, it's not going to be Donagh FM.
I'm going to nickname it Donna FM. Donna, you have been posting online over the last couple of days, and we carried a story in Your Lurgan. You're hoping to run or launch a new radio station.
That's
Donagh FM.
That's a lot further down the line, and you got to pick a few words out of that. I believe in community. I believe in a thing called Love Lurgan, and one way of promoting the idea and the concept is to put the word out there. Of 30, maybe 35 years of broadcasting experience, and as far as you're concerned,
shows.
Yeah, thanks. Oh, good. That may have been a compliment that just went over my head.
Face for the radio.
Face for the radio, thank you. And this face for the radio thought, well, if I've got skills to bear and bring, could I help a community kind of drive to have a radio station in this area? And it's not the conventional radio station that I'm talking about here. There are licenses out there that you can apply for. In fact, there are occasional, what they call RSLs, restricted service licenses. This is to broadcast on air that you can pick up on a radio in your car. FM is the most popular method these days. It was AM. There already is one station that actually broadcasts to this area, but I think you'd be pushed, Michael, to figure out what it's called.
I do know what it's called. I
You
will
do
not
know
mention
what
it because my radio accidentally falls onto it sometimes. However, but what you're looking to do, it's not so you don't want to go FM at the moment. You want to talk. You're talking online,
and it's not really commercial in the strictest sense. It's not to make fabulous amounts of wealth and money for me or anybody else. It's to have a community resource that you can dip into to listen. You can also participate with your news, with your views and your values, and bring it to a wider audience. Now, it'll turn out to be somewhere, I think, between a radio station and podcasting. Though I can't do it all on my own, nor do I want to. I want to engage and involve other people. And thanks to yourself and thanks to some other postings, people have shown up and they're going to show up again. And we're going to have a meeting and see what we can develop. Because this is how a lot of these community stations in different parts of the country have been. I've worked on a few, Carrickfergus FM, who every 6 months or a year would have a 5 or 6 week period when they would broadcast. They get volunteers to come together. This is a bit more than that. It's not just turn up, play your records, be a DJ. It's let's see how we do this. Let's see how we can do a podcast. Let's see if we can introduce people to the idea of conversing, of how to work sound, how to understand what a podcast is, what listening is, and all sorts of stuff. So there's a whole myriad of stuff that can be used within it on the scheme. So I can't say it's bigger, but it's different to existing systems. And I wouldn't be the first to be wanting to do this. There are plenty of examples around, if not Northern Ireland, certainly throughout the UK. So here goes, and thanks for pushing it. And to give you again, not the postscript, I'm hoping to have a Zoom meeting on, I think it's Wednesday. I
think I saw online, I think you said Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday. And
we'll clarify that anyway.
We'll
put the details out. But so reaction's been good.
Yep, been reaction. Some of it slower, some of it immediate. Lots of support if you can count the Facebook likes.
I got an email today about it.
And you got an email today, which you've now posted on to me. I got a couple of messages, PMs, or to the Love Lurgan page. So there's a core of people. And I've also been talking to other people. This has to be community-wide interest. So I'm reaching out to perhaps what you might call the educational services. I'll be reaching out to council. I'll be reaching out to a variety of places to allow access to it and to see their interest. So it's early stages, but I've had this in my head and my heart for a year or more, and I just never got round to saying and putting it out there.
It was one of the first things you raised with me whenever me and you first had our first ever meeting.
Absolutely.
Back in the good old days of the what do you call it? The spud place.
The potato bar. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope you've felt my enthusiasm, and I hope that maybe you can, Your Lurgan or others can buy into it without actually buying anything, if you know what I mean.
I'm not buying anything, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Anyway, cost of living crisis. Can't even get the post delivered these days. So yep, well, best of luck with that, Donagh.
Thank you very much for the
opportunity. I hope all goes well, and certainly if we can help in any way, I'm sure we will.
And you have been so helpful so far, and thank you. And those out there, you want to know more, best place to look for it is Facebook, Love Lurgan, and you'll get more details there. And of course, the Your Lurgan page, the story is up there too.
Shall we move on?
I think it's up to you now.
Okay, we will.
Deck, or do you want to be Ant?
I'd be Ant. We'll move on. We'll talk about Gaelic games. We'll move on into sport.
Well, I got checked last week for saying Gaelic games was over, and it's not. I mean, the season...
Is it not?
No, the season for most teams has moved on. Yesterday evening, and maybe we'll be able to flash the score up, the local hurling team, the Sean Tracy's, based in Lurgan, and they've got a combination with Portadown as well. They are involved in the Junior Championship, Ulster, and they're playing a team from Antrim. Yep, Antrim, in Dungannon. And that happened last night. So we do this before. So they're still in that championship. Most of the local teams are out. The Clan Erin ladies, the young ladies, are in championship matches too. So there's one or two happening, but most of them are kind of slightly not subdued, just taking a chill as they were, waiting for National League to start up, waiting for seasons to start up. So they're all having their dinner dances. And one of those dinner dances is for St. Michael's, who are based out in Marlin. Yeah, Marlin. Just as you go across the county border, as it were, up behind Allen Plantar. But we can't mention Allen Plantar, can we?
We can.
Too late now.
We know where we are.
So that's where you are, just beside Bedeck, as we mentioned one other day.
Should mention them as well.
We mentioned them, and then they'll come and sponsor the podcast.
Carry on there.
I gotta try.
We'll not mention any businesses, we'll just mention three. Carry on.
Other businesses are available.
They are.
So it's on the edge of Marlin, and it takes in the parish of Kilwarlen. As parishes develop, within kind of areas, that's where Gaelic clubs have been, and some have two parishes because they need the numbers. They've joined together with Kilwarlen, and I'm sure they were rivals in years gone by. So they've been around since 1962. Here's a preview of a chat Eugene Craney has had with some of the people involved.
But lost 3 championship finals, and but this year they won the championship and the league. So they've come on absolutely fantastic. The club on the senior end went from Division 1 to Division 4, but held their own for a brave lot of years. and had to rebuild because the numbers weren't there at underage level. But this past 5, 6, 7, 8 years, they're starting to filter through, and the team's starting to get built up.
Good.
And hopefully we'll get back till where we were. In the 70s and 80s, we were a fair good team in down.
Yeah.
So we're hoping
Moving forward.
Yes, move forward there and get there as soon as possible. But we know it's going to take time.
Yeah.
And I understand we're going to be out at St Michael's again on Saturday week. That's
at their dinner dance.
At their dinner dance.
Will not be I don't think it's at St Michael's. It's in the Seagull.
It's in the Seagull, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Very good. Football. I'm a very happy man this week.
You
Do you know something? You know, we always do that bit at the end where we don't know, how the results go, and now they sit here and go, I actually don't care this week because So if you recall last week, I said that if Glenavon managed to get 3 points out of their next 3 matches, I'd be a very happy man. I'd be delighted. Well, Glenavon were on 4 points out of 2 at the time of recording. So,
absolutely.
and
important wins, and I mean, drawing with the table toppers. In fact, wasn't it a draw with?
No, we beat the table toppers.
Beating the table toppers.
First of all, on last Saturday, as you will have seen from last week's podcast, Glenavon fought back from 2-0 down to draw 2 each with a very, very good Cliftonville side. Probably at that point, probably the best side we've played this year.
Are they third or fourth?
They're fourth, I think. Yeah,
the fourth. So you're knocking shoulders with those above you.
Yeah,
that was good.
That was good. And then on Tuesday night, Glenavon took on Glentoran, a team who conceded 2 goals all season, had drawn only 1 match and won the rest out of their 11 games they'd played to that point. And the one draw was a 0-0 draw on the opening day of the season against Larne, who are now top of the league. Glenavon went behind, played well, defended really well in the first half. They had to. Fell behind on the stroke of half time to a back post header from Aidan Wilson. And then the second half, my goodness, just came out and just started playing football, and it was brilliant. Glenavon were unbelievable and ended up winning the match 2-1. Unbelievable. Wow. If anybody has seen the interview on the Glenavon YouTube page where I'm interviewing Gary Hamilton, you'll notice I'm a bit hoarse. There's a good reason why I'm hoarse. I haven't cheered 2 goals like that in a long, long time.
I'm glad to see
but so that was a big night, big win. Glenavon, at the time of recording, had taken 10 points out of a possible 12. And they were playing good teams as well now. So
really impressive.
Really good run.
Really good buzz about it.
Yeah, there's a really good buzz about the place now.
Is it safe for me to go back and watch, do you think? Because it had a detrimental effect the last day. They lost 1-0.
Well, funny you mentioned that. We at Glenavon have on Friday evening launched a sort of campaign to get people to come to matches during the World Cup, because obviously there's people who are I'm claiming the credit for this idea. The people people who will go and watch Rangers, Celtic, United, Liverpool, Man City, whoever. There's lots of people who go and support those teams and will watch those teams religiously on TV, but wouldn't darken the door of their local Irish League club, which for me doesn't make sense. I mean, how can you call yourself a football fan if you won't watch a team up the road? But anyway, we're launching a campaign, nothing fancy, nothing spectacular, to make people aware that during the World Cup, Glenavon are still playing. There are 4 home games over that period. Would love to see people there, because let's be honest, the football's really good at the minute. We are the Irish League's entertainers. We're the top goal scorers in the league, but we also concede quite a few. So, you're guaranteed goals, you're guaranteed fun. It's great value. I hope I'm really selling this here, because it's only an hour ticket's £12.
You're doing a great job.
Concessions £8.
The front lounge is a nice place too.
Yeah,
there's good facilities there.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the other thing as well. We've got great food in the club, or the Cafe Blue, run by Gilkey there, good man Gilkey. Fantastic club shop. It's the only ground in the Irish League you can do a pub crawl in. We've got the social club, the Bedeck. You have the 3 supporters clubs under the main stand as well. And they're all very, very reasonably priced as well for a pint.
Never get home, for goodness sake. We
listen,
do not wish to encourage the intake of alcohol. He was talking about soft drinks there, weren't you? Maybe not. Perhaps.
Listen, all the details are over on Glenavon's Facebook page. But yeah, give that a go. Anyway, enough of that. There. Back to the match in question.
Okay, remind me to ask you about something else that's happening up in Glenavon on Monday. But let's go. I think it's Monday.
I don't think I know about that, but okay. So Glenavon are in the middle of a really tough run of fixtures, which is why that 10 points out of 12 is really, really important. On yesterday, Glenavon had another very tough game, Linfield away, which, if you know anything about Irish League football, or football in general, you'll know that Linfield are a very tough team. The last time Glenavon went to Windsor Park, they were very, very unlucky. They were 2-1 up at one stage, and ended up losing 3-2 to an 88th minute goal, I think it was. Very unlucky.
Dave Healy's still there, of course.
Healy! Aye, David Healy's still there. So
that was a very good
Jackie Fullerton impression. Oh yes, I do quite a few of these sometimes. They're very much in the match. I just fall through Jackie mode and away we go.
Instantly
1-0. Bearing in mind that right now we don't know what the score in the match is, and if we were recording this, here is my match review of the game.
I hope you can hear me over the absolute racket that's going on over my head. But it's finished here at Windsor Park. 2-1 to Linfield. More heartbreak for Glenavon at Windsor Park. All the goals came in the second half. Micheál Glynn, fantastic strike, gave Glenavon the lead on 58 minutes just before the hour mark. But in 69 minutes, Daniel Finlayson levelled the scores up. Then 4 minutes to go in time, left to go in the match. Robbie McDade taps home. Former Glenavon man gives Glenavon the 3 points. Glenavon beaten, a valiant effort, mind you, so can't complain too much about the performance. Maybe should have got something out of the game. I've just realised I'm all wonky here, but you'll hardly matter anyway. Coleraine up next for Glenavon on Tuesday, so we'll see how that goes. But anyway, back down to earth with a bump for Glenavon, unfortunately, here at Windsor Park.
So, I mean, I'm still smiling because it doesn't matter if Glenavon have won or lost or whatever. They're on 4 points out of 6 before the game. If they're on 4 points out of 9 at the end of the game, I'm still happy because it's more than I thought we'd get.
When does this division change come about? The top 6 split in 2?
Easter time. That's at Easter.
It's a while.
Yeah.
It's a while.
We've only played, this is I think game 12 or 13, so still a good while to go yet.
And moving up through the table. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
That's
yeah.
good.
So yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. The thing you were going to ask me about is in somewhere completely different, by the way, we found out, so...
Oh, well, they didn't see that bit, so...
No, we mentioned that earlier on, so we'll have to mention it now.
No, we didn't. It disappeared. That's why we started back.
Oh, for fuck's
Don't worry about that. That's all right, it's all right. So, been a busy week for yourself. I had the best intentions during the week, Michael, as you know, and circumstances beat me. I went one place, like Mother Hubbard, and the cupboard was bare. But I'm going back for another story. I'll keep that secret for a while. And then I went to another story and I hadn't prepared well enough. But I tell you that hopefully, keep your fingers crossed, I'll be reporting on a wonderful sport of which we have some international athletes based here in Lurgan and Blairy and the like. Bocce. Bocce is played by or tutored and delivered by Disability Sports Northern Ireland. And the ABC Council are the funders and runners, or at least it's in combination. And some of the activities happen in the South Lake Leisure Centre. So I'm hoping to catch people in preparation for future events. So
Wonderful. That sounds really good.
Sounds good. So,
well, that's it from us, I think.
I think it is.
Since you let me start off the podcast, would you like to close the podcast with all our details?
Could.
I know.
So...
can you remember them?
Here's how you get into social media for ourselves. We're on Twitter. Are we still on Twitter? Have you
we're still on Twitter. We're on them all.
You're a very brave man. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We're on LinkedIn. And, of course, we are on... YouTube.
TikTok, Facebook.
I did that last week.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn.
And we're also on...
At Your Lurgan.
We're also on Facebook Story because I saw Michael regularly doing a Facebook story, and I heard other people who heard about it. They said, "Oh, we heard this is coming up," so it's working.
Oh, is it good? Because we have to do one after this year to say this is coming on. So that's good to know.
Oh, great. So that's the end of the Your Lurgan podcast for today. I'm Donagh McKeown.
And I'm Michael Scott.